Hey YouTube, in this episode I'm going to get the hydraulic rams mounted and I'm going to mount the arm section of the quick attach fittings for the bucket, and I'll get some of the hydraulic lines connected up at least enough to be able to test the hydraulics. Won't be finished yet, I'll do that in the next video, so let's get started. Now I've got the hydraulics plumbed into the control and the rams, although I haven't connected it up to the tractor yet. I will take you through that step by step because that's the critical part. These front two are for the front rams, the secondary rams that control the bucket. So they fit on there like that. They come up here into this first bracket, then they go down along the side here, up to the front ram there. One branches off and goes across to the front of the other front ram. This one from the back of the other front ram, coming back here, has a branch off in the middle, which brings him back to here. Probably not the best design, but I'm not familiar with designing hydraulics. I wasn't even familiar with the sort of couplings I had to use. This is what I came up with. Having done it now, I think I could do better next time, but I'm not about to scrap what I've got as long as it works, because the hydraulic fittings, hoses and everything cost me as much as the rams did. These other two come off the back two ports of the controller. They come straight up here to the front bracket. This is pretty yucky where I've had to come off on the 90 degrees, bringing them down there to this primary ram. And then they go forward from there across the cross member and back down there to the primary ram on the other side. Everything's going to clear whatever it has to clear, like all those hoses are clear enough of the exhaust stack that shouldn't be a problem with it. I'm going to have to tie some of them down a little bit and put some protectors on them to stop them rubbing through in a few places, but all that can be done later. That's where we're at now. I'm just going to go around and tighten all these fittings on. Now, I've had a bit of a fiddle around with the routing on this, and I think I'll come up with a little bit better. These two go to the back, and these control the main rams. That's the front to back movement on the joystick, and they come up here to the first lock, and then they drop around the side here, go down into the T's, which drop down to that block, which controls this ram, and then, as before, they carry on to the other side. These two here that control the secondary ram come up over the top of this block and into this front block, and then continue on up here to how they were before. I think that's a better layout. It is fairly tight. There's not a lot of play in the hoses. There's only enough play to allow these arms to go up and down, and everything else is pretty much fixed. Now I've disassembled all the tractor parts and I've got them all painted up now. I gave them one coat of primer. I used Dulux Metal Shield all surface primer. Supposed to be great for inhibiting rust and priming all sorts of metal. I don't think it matters a lot what sort of primer you use. I also used the Dulux Metal Shield Tractor Blue, which isn't quite the right colour for Mitsubishi tractor, but it's kind of close, and I couldn't get the right colour anyway unless I had it mixed, and then I'd need to know the exact components to get it mixed, which I didn't. So anyway, that's what I used. As I say, I don't think the brand of paint makes any difference. I think as long as you've got decent quality paint on it, that will do the trick quite nicely. Pretty happy with the way that's come up. I just got to let it all dry now, and I can put it all back on the tractor and assemble it. Then all I've got to do is get the hydraulics working, finish the bucket, and I'm in business. Getting all very exciting now, like a kid with a new toy. Well, as you can see, it is quite possible to lift it up and move it around once it's welded together, but it's not pleasant. I'm just putting the front end loader back together on the tractor, and as you can see, the colour blue is a really good match to the tractor colour. In a dark room, if you squint your eyes half closed, you can pretty much believe it's almost the same colour. But it was all I could get, so this blue, you've got to be happy with that. Alright, now this can be moved by one bloke with a bit of determination and a lot of effort. Now I'm assembling the front end loader end of the quick attach fitting. Okay, who's going to go one way? It should be obvious which way. Welds to the outside. There's paint in those holes. I have to go and take some paint out of these holes. Come back in a minute. Now don't take that too far through until you get this piece up there. Pinch it all together. Stick a pin in to hold it, and that's completely finished. I'm just going to put this other one on now. This is the first one that I put together, and I did the second one differently, as you've seen in an earlier video. This one's not going to go together quite as nice as the other one, but I've got a plan to deal with that, so see how we go with it. Now these ones don't have any significant stick outs on them to prevent rubbing where it shouldn't. One side will be okay, but the other one's going to need some help. I got it some help by way of some 5/8 washers. Well, they're almost 5/8. They're one of these very annoying metric sizes, which is almost, 7/8 washers. Which are almost 7/8, but they're just a shade shorter than the real deal. All I'm going to have to do is just run the Burr Grinder around on the inside of it, so ease it a little bit. And as you can see, it doesn't take much. I mean, there wasn't a lot to come off there, but see that Burr Grinder rips into it too. Don't forget your safety goggles with it, because it really sends stuff flying. There's just enough lip on this inside of here to make that work, except there's too much paint there to go on, so I need to just hit that with the Burr Grinder. Very, very lightly, because all I'm wanting to do is take off the paint. And for someone who wasn't trying to paint the inside of those holes, I got a remarkable amount of paint in there. Now this one's just going to have to go in and hope for the best. Got a bit of slop in there, put some shims in there if I need to. Well, it's got the arms all together. Now I can connect up the hydraulics. Let's put some of these tools away and reposition the camera. Okay, well there it is. I've got the hydraulics in now, at least from the control joystick up to the rams. I still haven't got the hydraulics connected up to the pump or back to the tank yet. When I do that, I will show you the details of it. I've already done a couple of videos of running these hydraulic lines to the rams, so I didn't think there was much point in actually taking you through step by step again. I've shown you the routing, and everything's going to be a bit different. As you can see, they're pretty much routed the way I test fitted them when I determined the lengths. I'm going to get some cable ties and tie them up just to hold them together a little bit there. I've got some of this coily sort of flexi stuff to go around the outside, just on a few places where they're likely to rub. And I'm going to get another fitting for down here. I think if I get another elbow there, turn him around this side to coming out this way, I'll get a better angle in. I really don't like that terrible S bend that I've got in that pipe. Not happy with it all. Now I've got a bit of hose here for the return hose from the controller, and if you can see in there, this is a lower pressure hose. It does still have some steel reinforcing in there, but not nearly as much as the high pressure side of it. So this is only for the return side, and you also might notice that it's a larger diameter hose. That's to keep the back pressure low. Now, the unfortunate thing about this is I haven't yet figured out where I'm going to cut this back into the hydraulics on the tractor. I still have a few options. I've got enough hose here that whichever option I choose, I should have enough hose here to do it. Even if I go all the way down to the back here, two options. I think I'll either cut it in to the return line somewhere around up here perhaps, if I can find some fittings that'll work in that short space. in which case I only need enough to go over to there and fit the quick attach in for it. Or I shall run it down underneath and attach it to a piece of pipe which I run through underneath, and then pick up the hose at the other end to run it back into the auxiliary fitting at the back of the tractor. As I haven't figured out which option I'm going to use yet, but for now I'm going to do a really iffy thing, and I'm just going to sit it in here, or hold it in here, so that I can direct it back into the filler port of the oil tank, and that will allow me to bleed and test the hydraulics here. That's my plan anyway. The hose is a little bit stiffer than I thought, so I may need to get my wife to help me just to hold that in there. Quite a boring job for her, but one that needs to be done. Got my beautiful assistant holding the pipe in the makeshift return, just funnel into the filler, and there we are, fully extended. I think the pump might be a little bit on the light side for the ram, which I expected. I'll just have to see how that goes. Anyway, first action of the hydraulics. I'm still trying to come to terms with how I'm going to make this fit at a minimal cost, because I've already had some of the fittings made up and a good deal of that's going to have to be tossed now, so I still like to save as much as I can. I have to drain some oil out anyway, one way or the other. I'm going to lose a fair bit of the oil, so I need to drain it and catch it so that I can put it back in again. I apologise for the fan noise. We're well into autumn, but it is a stinking hot day. I will do my best to use noise reduction to take it out. Just gets more and more involved. You've got to take the steering arm off now to get into the hydraulics there. I'm going to take the camera off, but I don't think there's anything of any real interest to see until I figure out how I'm going to do this, and then I'll try and get some close-ups of it. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video. In the next episode, I'm going to get the hydraulics finished, and that will finish the tractor section of the front end loader. There'll just be the bucket left to do after that. If you'd like to see more of my projects, you can go to my channel or browse to my website. Don't forget to click like, comment and subscribe for more. Until next time.